In today's episode, keep bowling, the pro shop will fix it? Okay. 50 grams over the weight limit at the airport? I guess I'll eat them. Karen tells me to stop the ride, so I did. The day I made a Karen cry. So let's get started. Keep bowling, the pro shop will fix it? Okay. I had forgotten about this until recently and thought I would share. I think it fits in here. It isn't a huge thing, but it resulted in me getting something I wanted but couldn't afford and then winning money with it. When I was younger and through my early to mid-adult years, I was an avid bowler. 200 plus average back when that actually meant you were good, before the bowling ball technology boom, which comes into play here. And I worked at the local bowling center from the time I was 16 though 21 or so, and then again later on in my early 20s, working the back, pin setters, front of the house, etc. So knew how things operated, what could go wrong, etc. I was bowling at a different center one day. The first frame, after each shot, my ball came back with a small nick out of it. Nothing major, but yeah. So I put that ball away and brought out an old ball that I never use, but was in one of my bags. Next 2 or 3 shots, another nick each time. 4th frame, it finally came back with a fairly large chunk taken out of it. Usually that means there is a nail or a screw that has worked its way loose and the ball is catching on it, or a piece of metal has broken near the ball lift and is cutting into it. I take the ball up to the counter and tell the manager and show him what had happened. Now, I was only 4 frames into the game and said I would move, and he said no, they couldn't move me as they had a party coming in and no lanes available. He said just keep bowling and the pro shop will repair the ball. I asked if he was sure. He said yup, he will go in and tell them to fix it and the center would pay for it. Most pro shops are individually owned and operated. The owner rents the space from the center. This was no exception. Now, having done simple pro shop work, I know for a fact there is no way it can be fixed if I keep bowling with it, and this keeps happening. One gouge can be repaired fairly easily as long as it is not in the track of the ball. The track is the contact point where your ball rolls down the lane, so anything in that line just can't be fixed, and will throw off the ball as it rolls since it can't be perfectly rounded back. Depending on the core of the ball and how you throw it, the track can be 3 to 4 inches wide as the ball flares going down the lane. But massive multiple gouges all over the place? Nope. So I keep bowling 2 or 3 games, knowing that I am getting a new bowling ball out of this. Of course the huge chunks keep coming out of the ball. I get finished and there probably isn't a 2-inch by 2-inch section of the ball that isn't damaged. I take the ball into the pro shop and the conversation goes, "Pro shop guy, what the hell happened to this ball? Did it get hung up in the pin setter or something?" Me, the lane I was on damaged it each time I threw it. The manager said you would fix it. Pro shop guy, why did you keep bowling? I can't fix this. Me, the manager told me to keep bowling after I showed him the first gouge. Pro shop guy then calls in the manager of the center. Pro shop guy, I know you said he was bringing in a damaged ball, but did you tell him to keep bowling after you saw the damage? Center manager, yeah, we couldn't move him, so I told him to just bowl out his games and you would fix it. Pro shop guy, I can't fix this. You are going to have to replace his ball. Manager, what? Bunch of arguing back and forth about why it can't be fixed, the ball I have they don't carry, etc. Fine, replace it with anything on the wall except for the Excalibur. The Excalibur was almost 50% more expensive than regular bowling balls. It was the first reactive resin ball on the market. Reactive resin is a compound that made the ball hook much more than a traditional urethane ball. It revolutionized the game, and ruined it according to some, since it allowed average/below average bowlers to suddenly improve drastically due to not having to be anywhere near as accurate, and took a lot of the skill from the game, but I digress. Me, so I can pick any ball other than the Excalibur and you will pay for it, drilling and all? Manger, yes. Me, okay, thanks. Manager leaves. Me, can I have store credit for that ball on the wall, but then apply it to the Excalibur, and I will pay the difference. Pro shop guy, sure, we can do that. And proceeds to measure my hand and drills the ball, and I pay like $40 for what was then between a $150-$200 ball that I could not have afforded at the time. Bowled my second ever 300 game with it less than a month later and won 2 center tournaments with it, and a bunch of high game pot money during league play. That ball paid for itself 10x over in the first 2 months. 50 grams over the weight limit at the airport? I guess I'll eat them. This happened a couple days ago. Also, mandatory English isn't my first language. For Americans, 50g equals 1.76 as 200g equals 7 as 23 kilograms equals 50.7 pounds. So when I travel by plane, which happens about 2/3 times per year, I'm usually quite conscious about the weight of my luggage because of how much you have to pay if it exceeds the limit. This time I put a bit more stuff in because of gifts, but I thought I was fine. I pass the police and get to the check-in, where a woman in her late 30s/early 40s that reminded me of my old history teacher indicated me to proceed. I give my passport, do the usual stuff, and I put my luggage on the scale, which shows 23.05 kilograms, the limit being 23. I was quite pleased with myself while looking at it, thinking I got it just right, but no, the woman tells me I need to pay €50 for excess baggage. I look at her confused, telling her it's 50 grams, surely it doesn't matter. She repeats herself, and we start arguing until she says, either you pay €50 or you somehow make the luggage 50g lighter. I didn't have a carry-on, so I couldn't take anything with me. At that moment I remember the 200g of chocolate that are sitting in the luggage, and I start smiling. I open the luggage, take the chocolate out and start nibbling at it with a grin on my face while looking at the woman, who goes from Pikachu face to annoyed. She tells me to hurry up, even though I was the only one in line, so I offered her some and she just stared at me. I ended up eating exactly a quarter of the 200g, and lo and behold, the scale showed 23 kilograms. The woman gives me my ticket while glaring at me, and I tell her to have a good day. TLDR, lady tells me I need to pay because my luggage has 50g too many, so I eat them, chocolate. Karen tells me to stop the ride, so I did. The day I made a Karen cry. I work at an amusement park, and we have this ride called Moby D**CK. This ride is 100% controlled by the operator. A couple of weeks ago this woman and her friend came up to my ride making fun of one of the kids that were on the ride. She was saying so many hateful things about how they look. Without even looking at her I told her to stop, and this is how it went. Me, you're literally talking about a 7-year-old like that, you need to stop, or you will not be allowed on the rides. Karen, but it's true, look at them. Me, don't disrespect other guests please, it's not okay. Karen's friend, stop Karen before you get us in trouble again. Karen, whatever. When the ride was finished I start letting the next group of people in. I say do not pull down on the bars, pick any seat you'd like, to everyone as they walk in, since pulling on the bars can break the seats over time. I let a group of young boys in before Karen's group, and they sat at the end seats. Karen marches over to the kids yelling at them to get out of her seat, and that she paid to sit at the end. Me, miss please stop yelling at the kids, or you will be removed from the ride with no refund and tickets. Karen, don't tell me dash. Karen's friend, stop it Karen, just sit in the middle. She complained the whole time walking to the middle seats, and then pulled down the bar. I was thinking it was time to get a manager over, but I didn't want to bother them with her. Once I got everyone seated I close all the seat bars. When I was checking the seats Karen's one was on the loose side, so I pushed it in a little to make it tighter. Karen, you're trying to kill me. First you left my seat open, now you're making it so I can't breathe. I ignore her and keep checking seats. When I finally start the ride I slowly rock it and Karen is screaming to take her off, so I make the ride go faster, doing full circles now. Halfway during the ride, Karen screams, stop the ride *king bitch. She wants me to stop it? Fine with me, I park the ride at the top of the ride like I do when closing, but keeping the ride on. The 6 others on the ride weren't scared, the ride stopped. Karen started screaming bloody murder, crying and begging to be let down. The parents watching know what she said before their kids and know what's going on and start laughing. After around 30 seconds she is screaming, "Let me down still." So I do on the fastest setting. I start the ride spinning full speed. I made the ride a little longer since all the kids were having fun. Before I open the seats I scream a warning. Me, wait for the bars to be fully open and stay above your head before getting up. Stay seated. Karen pushes it up and gets up, having the bar fall back down and hit her in the head. Her friend laugh at her and get up, walking her off the ride. Thanks for watching.